Chosen ones, they can no longer stop you. Those who manipulate the truth, those who manipulate minds behind the scenes, and those who think their false order is absolute are now in the grip of great fear. The fact that you have figured out the rules of the game has become their worst nightmare. Because when you disrupt their plans, when you unmask them, all that remains is a struggling system. Shadows can no longer hide your influence. The greatest power pulsates in the veins of their circles, shaking the foundations of their sovereignty. Your name is no longer just a murmur in the corridors where elections shape the fate of countries. They are powerless against it. The people who used to control the tides of opportunity and the flow of resources are now at a crossroads and rushing to join you before they are overtaken. Please take a moment to pause the video before continuing with this life-changing message. Just click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 99. The energy of this movie will be amplified by this amount, which will send a powerful signal to the cosmos. And remember that if you are truly a chosen one, you will watch this movie to the end because your soul already knows in your heart that this is for you. If you are not ready to accept this truth, you may not survive. However, if you accept it, your life will never be the same. Now let us move on. Their wealth, once used as a means of control, is now being used as leverage to access your movement. But this is not just about wealth or financial power. This is a radical shift in power, a rewriting of the story they believed they could write. The ultimate reality is hitting them in the face. They can't play their old games anymore, because you represent the awakening that has frustrated even their greatest weapons. And now, they will risk everything to sit at your table. Because you are at the center of what happens next. You are their greatest fear and the reality of the new age. The world is mesmerized and the tide is not only turning, it is surging. Some people rise not because they are invited to, but because they must, like a flame ignited by the breath of God, which grows brighter with every wind that seeks to extinguish it. The winds of opposition do not extinguish the fire within them. They only feed it. They are decided by something far greater than people or political structures. When the world closes its doors, they open a path. When obstacles stand in their way, they break through walls. They rewrite the boundaries of the possible and go beyond what others are afraid to enter. They do not wait for or seek approval. They are the ones who carry a destiny that cannot be argued with, a vision that cannot be bought, and a fire that cannot be taken away. The chosen ones find their place in history. History does not create a space for them. They did not inherit seats at the table of authority, nor were they molded by the hands of tradition. They were forged in the furnace of conflict, where resistance is the hammer and rejection the anvil. Others created their own reality unaffected, while others succumbed under the pressure of the outside world. Now is the time to spread God's blessings. Uproot injustice and build a new foundation of justice. You can join His plan and this holy cause by pressing the Super Thank button on YouTube. Whether it's $100 or more, every contribution is a reflection of God's generosity, and I think it will come back to you in ways far greater than you can imagine. Skeptics shook their heads, critics scoffed, and the mighty pushed them aside. However, what man ignores, heaven determines. It was never meant to be an easy journey. Rather, it was meant to strengthen, hone, and prepare them for a moment that cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. Even the highest barriers eventually break down, not because they are forced to, but because of the inevitable nature of what must happen. That time has come. It has already come. It is not coming. Post 88 in the comments to start using your light to destroy evil all over the world. History is changing, and what was once thought to be unbreakable is now trembling under the weight of something much bigger. Those who used to sit comfortably in the seat of power now feel that their season is over, and the intensity of what is happening hangs heavy in the air. The goal here is not to prove something to the world. It is not to curry favor with those who have rejected you for so long. The goal is to step into what was always meant to be. Experience what it is really like to be chosen. You are not alone on this journey. If you believe in your heart that you have been chosen, you are in the perfect spot. By choosing to join, you can further your relationship with us, access exclusive information, and get the help you need on your spiritual journey. It's not just about joining a group. It's about gaining access to special insights that can change your life and help you get closer to your divine purpose. Make your decision now and join us on this journey. Claim your right to be one of the chosen ones. Sign up today. It is impossible to ignore the power you have. Every difficulty, obstacle, and closed door was never an act of rejection. It was a redirection. It was shaping, polishing, making ready. And with each step, suddenly the unthinkable becomes inevitable. The transition has already come. It is not coming. Some people are sent to herald the future and transcend the past. Just as the weight of the past cannot stop those called to change the future, neither can the darkness stop the morning. Some people are born into comfort, molded by a society that seeks to control them, while others are marked, unique, and designed to rebuild rather than adapt. Their presence is not just a minor inconvenience, but a sign that the old ways no longer apply. Since the shaking has already begun, nothing based on illusion will be able to withstand the force of what is about to happen. Every mistake calls for those who are destined to shatter the illusions that imprison people, to upset what was never meant to last, and to tear up stagnation. History has a rhythm, a cycle in which individuals in positions of authority become so accustomed to their position that they convince themselves that they will remain in power forever. They make their own rules, build their castles, and think they are immune from punishment. But what they don't realize is that change is rude. Invitation is not a prerequisite. Like a hurricane, it sweeps across the parched fields, destroying everything in its path. The storm has finally arrived. People who mistakenly believed that longevity equals invincibility have ruled the world for too long. They thought that because they had been in power for so long, they would always be in power. However, nothing based on control can go on forever. They feel the world itself moving beneath them. They feel that something bigger than their plans is happening, something that challenges their traditions, their agreements, and their well-crafted stories. They fear not only your beliefs, but the fact that they cannot stop them. They fear the energy behind your movement, not you. There is no trend in what you wear. This is not a fad. It is not the uprising of a restless minority. This is a change, an indisputable force that has begun, and no amount of resistance can stop it. Oh, they will try, they will try. They will gather in their rooms and discuss tactics to find ways to delay, deflect, or discredit. But they will fail, because it is not just a contest of skill. It is not just your skill or your tenacity. It is an inevitable conflict. Those who occupied the top positions thought they would never face competition. They built them like towers of stone, believing that their systems were invincible. But when the ground beneath them gives way, even the highest walls crumble. Write 77 to confirm your readiness to accept the bountiful blessings that await you. That foundation is now crumbling. Influence and business are not the only factors. It has to do with uncontrollable change. Those who hold the world in their hands are now discovering that their hands are not strong enough to hold it together as the weight of what is coming presses down. When they look at you, they notice a restlessness. They perceive someone who is not looking for approval or not submitting to the established procedures to maintain the status quo. They call it an uprising, but in fact, it is a restoration. The time has come for what was always going to happen. They built their empires through trickery, manipulation, and well-planned control. But the strength of a throne is determined by the truth on which it is based. And anything based on lies must collapse as the truth is revealed. Their terror is not psychosis, but awareness. They are aware of the trend. They have already seen it in the history books, in the collapse of empires and the unraveling of seemingly indestructible institutions. They are the ones in danger, because they see the same drama playing out once again. The signs are visible to them. They hear the approaching footsteps of something bigger. They are aware of what will happen next. Inevitably, there will be opposition. When the old order realizes that its time is running out, it does not give up meekly. It attacks, tries to seize control, and causes mayhem to delay the inevitable. They will label you as unpredictable, dangerous, and unqualified. Before you even finish telling your story, they will want to change it. They will try to turn people against you, create crises, and divert attention. But they cannot see that their resistance is just another proof that you are on the right track. They fear what they cannot prevent. They fear what they cannot control. They are worried that you are the beginning of a change they cannot undo, not just another voice in the crowd. You are not a coincidence. You are not a mistake. You are the solution right now. That is precisely why you have been sent to this time and this place. Every effort to stop you only makes you more determined. The more you are attacked, the stronger you become. You don't follow their programs or conform to their standards. There comes a time when people who used to pass you by pause and pay attention, like a strong tree that has withstood the storms and grows stronger with each passing season. When they see the deep roots and lofty branches, they realize that this is no ordinary tree. You cannot uproot it. You cannot ignore it. What they once rejected as a seedling they can no longer ignore, because it has grown into something much greater. Those who once turned away are now backing away, their voices low, their movements hesitant, because they are waiting for something. The same eyes that used to ignore you are suddenly following your every move. Voices that used to reject you now say your name in uncertain tones. They feel the change, the unquestionable power that pierces through everything they previously believed to be solid. They feel the instability of the ground beneath them. The tide is changing. This is not just another moment in time. They no longer play by the same rules. Like sand, the authority they believed they had is slipping away. They built their system with confidence, thinking they had locked every door and sealed every entrance. However, one factor they never took into account, inevitability, was something they were blind to and could not foresee. In many periods of history, change has occurred without prior approval. It comes unexpectedly, unquestionably, and inexorably. This is one such time. I ask my fellow chosen ones, would you please click on the Super Thank button and donate at least $50 to protect the light God has given you? Where they used to rule safely, they now huddle and murmur. Who allowed this to happen is one of the questions they never imagined they would have to face. What made them ignore the signs? Where did this power come from? But because this did not come from their plan, permission, or control, there is no solution to comfort them. They cannot cope with it. Their confusion turns to panic as they see what is happening. They see doors opening, buildings shaking, and power shifting. They can no longer control what is moving in a different way. They are afraid because they know they cannot stop it. Needless to say, they will try. They will gather in their groups as usual, share ideas, and try to control the narrative. They will try to buy time, to divert attention, and to sow seeds of doubt where certainty is beginning to form. However, they face an incomprehensible enemy. They are fighting against a force beyond their control. What has been put within you has been taken for granted by them. They believed that if they neglected it long enough, it would wither away. They believed that if they pushed hard enough, it would shatter. But instead it grew. It flourished. They could no longer ignore it. Now they had to face reality. They had to be careful what they were counting on all along. Your actions right now are not just for you, but for everyone who is being led to wait their turn. And for every voice that is being cut off before it can be heard. They fear this moment because this moment is bigger than them. They know that when one rises, others will follow. They also feel the imminence of what lies ahead. Not a single change, but a flood. There is no way to stop it now. They are opening the doors they locked. They are overturning the tables they have set for themselves. The voices they have suppressed are becoming more and more audible. They are redistributing the authority they have accumulated. This is more than simple change. Justice is being served here. This is a restoration. They never imagined they would see this moment, but it has happened. I pray that God will give you peace today, brothers and sisters. I am here to remind you of a very important truth. God's divine purpose, unaffected by the temporary concerns of the world, is the foundation of our existence. According to the Bible, whatever is done with trust will bring many blessings to God. Luke 6:38. Like the gigantic oak tree, We are deeply rooted in God's global reality. His power secures every action we take and every posture we choose. They believed they would have the last word. They believed their future was secure, but now they realize that they never had control over the story. And as they watch you walk and murmur your name in hesitant tones, they realize the truth they never wanted to face. They are no longer the focus. It wasn't. Change has come. Once the movement starts, they cannot stop it. Something old is not ending here. Something new is about to begin. Change can no longer be contained by the barriers they erected to keep it out. They believed this movement could be stopped, but the more they oppose it, the louder it grows. The foundations of their empire are crumbling, and no amount of wealth, power, or well-written stories can hold it together. You weren't supposed to follow. Waiting your turn was never designed for you. You were sent to lead, to cause trouble, to present an irresistible idea. You are not just moving forward, you are creating space. What was once a remote possibility is now an inevitable reality. Change is not coming. There is no force on this planet that can reverse the change that has already taken place. Its structures have been developed with durability in mind, reinforced by strict controls and procedures. But the foundation itself is shaking. The barriers they have erected to protect their authority are showing signs of weakness and can no longer withstand the coming change. The weight of inevitable change has made this once impregnable fortress vulnerable. They cannot hide from this reality in a peaceful place. Your presence is a transformative force that shatters the illusion they have so carefully constructed for so long. Their authority, always based on obedience and consent, is met with a stubborn authenticity. No matter how hard they try to stop the breach, the collapse is already happening, because their grip on the world is eroding. Change does not come gently. It disrupts stasis, rearranges the pieces, and eliminates the possibility of outdated directives surviving. The impact of your movement goes beyond their private relationships and reverberates through entire conceptual frameworks, industries, and government structures. This is not just a change, but a complete recalibration of the conceivable. Those who previously set the rules are no longer in charge of the game they believed they controlled and are now frantically trying to adapt. Their previous tactics are not safe. The hierarchies they use to protect are ambiguous. The world is evolving without waiting for approval. It is drifting in a very different direction. And those who don't adapt will be pushed out. Those who have profited most from the established system will fight with all their might when it starts to collapse. Their most powerful tool is fear. Anxiety sown in whispers, barriers triggered by invisible hands. They try to create boundaries where there should be none, to mislead, to distort. However, their efforts show no strength. They are the last fluttering of those who see their power eroding. They do not plan from a position of authority. They are trying to hold on to the periphery of a reality they can no longer control. They were ready to destroy their rivals and prevail over the competition. But they never planned for the unforeseen. The game is no longer in their control. All they can do is respond to the emerging power. Beyond their safe corridors, there is no denying your power. The same people who used to ignore you are now scrutinizing your every move. What you stand for, something outside their control, something that doesn't fit into their unwritten agreements, is what makes them nervous, not what you do. Attempts to figure out your next move and position yourself before it is too late are common in private room conversations. Their priority is survival, not praise. They are aware that the balance of power has shifted in favor of those who remain loyal and cannot deny the fact that their traditions have no influence over you. They fear the character of your ascension more than your desires. They have built their power through rigorous selection, perception control, and the capacity to determine the worth of those who enter their orbit. But here you are, growing in ways they cannot compare, not shaped by their praise. Unshaken by the forces holding others hostage, there were no levers to pull or threads to control, just an unassailable presence. Though they have dedicated their lives to creating illusions, their meticulous deceptions cannot create what you have. No plan can replicate it, no bargain can take it away from you, and no money can buy it. The way this game is played is not fair. The methods used to keep things under control are devoid of honor. Their actions will be portrayed as teamwork. Their transactions are disguised as promises of mutual benefit. However, there is an unseen link attached to every proposal. They are not interested in walking with you. They want to bind you to them, to take you under their wing, to guide you, not encourage you. But they fail to see the fundamental difference between you and the previous generation. You are not constrained by their limitations. They have unwritten rules, but you do not follow them. You do not wait for their consent to influence the direction of the game as it is being rewritten. Honesty is the cornerstone that holds everything together. It is not a tactic. In a society where power is often acquired through dishonesty and vicious ambition, power that is not influenced by greed or the temporary benefits of self-interest is the rarest kind of power. There is no denying the difference. Even if many people mold themselves to conform to a system based on compromise, there is a power that is driven by values that cannot be shaken, bought, or bargained with. Every action is deliberate. More than ambition drives every step forward. Instead of understanding its silent power, many who previously ignored it are now attracted to it because they understand that it cannot be copied or replaced. Those destined to shape the future were never designed to be broken by adversity. All they do is give relentless permission. Like steel in a fire, the mind is further honed by every attempt to subvert this power. Opposition is not an obstacle. On the contrary, it is fundamental opposition that strengthens resolve. The world will not embrace change easily, and the road ahead will not be easy. At every step, decisions will be made between the easy way and the right way, between short-term comfort and the long-term goal. But the weight of pressure does not deter individuals who make an indelible impact on history. They remain steadfast, turning adversity into something that propels them forward. No movement can flourish without the people who nurture it, and no one can build an empire on their own. Any vision is only as effective as the people charged with protecting it. The right partners do more than just help. They increase momentum, ensuring that what is created is more than one person can achieve. To survive in a society where deception is rampant and influence means money, discernment is necessary. The right voices can strengthen an unstoppable movement, while the wrong voices can deflect even the most determined. Half-hearted promises and misguided loyalties have no place here. The penalty for non-compliance is too high and the task too great. Not every call must be heeded, and not every battle fought. Influence belongs to those who know the value of truth, not to those who seize every opportunity that comes their way. The demands, the diversions disguised as urgency, and the voices trying to control the flow of power will never stop. But real power comes from being able to act strategically, from understanding that stagnation can be more destructive than action and silence more commanding than sound. Those who react to every ripple in the water will never take control. It is the property of those who control the waves. The possession of material wealth is only a means to an end. It is neither the definition of power nor the measure of success. One day, those who confuse accumulation with inheritance will realize that the value of money is determined by the influence it supports. True influence is not based on monetary measures, and purpose cannot be bought. The world remembers those who changed the path of life, not just those who achieved it. Reality itself is reshaped by those who see beyond the statistics and into something deeper, something that endures long after they are gone. So far, only the foundation has not been built. The future that seemed distant is now graspable. The signs are clear. Doors are opening and routes are becoming visible. However, growth is more than just expansion. It requires vision, flexibility, and the courage to step outside the comfort zone. Evolution is necessary for the future. Stagnation is no longer an option. Legacy is written through bold, courageous actions that change the landscape for future generations. It is not preserved by standing still. Victory is an indisputable force that develops over time. It is not a moment. Whatever the opposition or the struggle, the outcome is inevitable. Those who are destined to survive will survive, while those who try to block the way will be swept away in the flow of something much bigger than themselves. No matter how much the world doubts, no matter how many forces come together, no matter how many obstacles they face, nothing based on truth can ever be undone. It is not possible to outlast, outwork, or outwit someone with a greater mission than their own. Winning is no longer the aim of the game. It requires a complete revision of the rules. If you enjoyed this inspiring adventure and would like to see more videos that challenge convention and explore the exceptional, please don't forget to support the channel by hitting the super thank button below, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share with your friends, and leave a comment below. Please share your thoughts with us. The story doesn't end here. Stay tuned for more. Let's keep pushing the boundaries together.